Again, the reason I picked, I believe women's rights is important is because I was raised by a single woman. My mother taught me pretty much everything that I need to know to become a man. And I've learned certain characteristics and qualities from my mother. But my dad also, living in the United States, when I moved, I started to live with him and seeing the different aspects of manhood and how he was able to kind of come again, live in a country that he didn't know anything, he never really spent, didn't go to school in Haiti, so he had to learn everything on his own. Now go back to 1915. In 1915 in the United States, women didn't have the rights to vote yet in America. Black people were getting lynched. Now can you guys give me a perspective about why do you think really the United States invaded Haiti in 1915? Why was it necessary if it really was to make Haiti a more democratic society, since women were a part of the democratic process in 1915 and black people, again, pretty much were catching hell? What are your perspectives and thoughts on that?
Well, according to Woodrow Wilson, his exact words, I believe, were to protect American and foreign investments in Haiti. The reality is that in 1915, World War I had already started. Although the United States wasn't already engaged in it, the Europeans were already fighting with each other in World War I. And Germany, and starting in the late 19th century, around 1870s or so, they already had a strong presence in Haiti and in the Caribbean in general. And you had a situation in 1915 where you had about 200 Germans living in Haiti and investing in Haiti. They basically controlled the local economy. And you had foreigners from other countries, such as France and Haiti, but the Germans, to bypass the Haitian constitution, which didn't allow foreigners to own land in Haiti, they married into the elite, which tended to be lighter-skinned Haitians. So they married into the elite, and they began to have a strong presence in Haiti and to control the local economy. So the U.S., applying the Monroe Doctrine, which was promulgated in 1823, saying that Americas were for America and other countries, and the Europeans then have the right to intervene in America. America decided that it should interfere with what the Germans were doing in Haiti. And that really was the reason why, even prior to 1915, the USS Montana was already within the shores of Haiti in 1940. Because America used the assassination of Haitian President Villebois Guillaume Sam in 1915 as an excuse to say that, hey, this country's, there's a lot of instability in the country, so we should intervene and help out to restore order. But it was something that was already building decades prior, and America, in an effort to curtail Germany's growing role in Haiti, decided to invade Haiti. That's my take.
I know you want to say something about the women's rights aspect of, again, American women not having the rights to vote in Haiti, democracy, and occupation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that too, and alongside with that, education. When you can keep a community down by not having, and then allowing them to go to school, having the education. So more of the elite individuals were able to go to school. And as I remember that they would even go to France to study. And you can only imagine back then, like, groups of people, and I can only think of my mom growing up where she didn't have an education. Like, going to school there was really tough for her. And just to come here, it's like all of those are being taken away. And education plays a major role. If you have education, you're going to move. You're going to be smart enough. You're going to marry with the elite families to get where you need to go. And it's not to put anyone down, it's just to show that how important education is. Even if you have money, if you don't have money, if you can read a book, literacy is so important. And I realized that even with my son, like just teaching him how to read at an early age, how he's able to transform and think that he can be the next president at the age of 5. And I never thought of that. So you can only imagine education and how it played a role in 1915. And even now, the schools, I went to go visit, the private schools are open, but there's really no public institutions. Like where individuals can go for free and get an education. The families have to raise money, call family to pay for their child to get an education.
I believe that if we take a look at the entire scenario, you mentioned a couple of different things. You say, okay, 1915, women's rights in America. You mentioned the condition of blacks, their treatment in America, and then the relevance of Haiti at the time. Now, if Haiti's an independent country at this point, now, I think if we look at the bigger picture of it all, and we look at the mindset, and we look at here in America, now what did America go into? Haiti? My answer to that directly is that they seen a growing threat. And because it was a growing threat to what? The idea of a growing power that was happening in America, unstable as it was. Because a clear example of that is that women didn't even have the right to vote. So this thought process that was happening in Haiti, I'm sorry, not Haiti, in the U.S., had a goal to accomplish something. Their goal to accomplish a particular thing and remain and keep a certain level of power. Haiti has a history of actually breaking a certain level of power and a certain way of thinking. And so there's a lot of different reasons, and you can go through the history books and look at a lot of different reasons as to why America said that they went into Haiti, because people weren't developed enough, they did not know what they were necessarily doing, that we need to go ahead and bring democracy to them, and so forth. However, none of that was actually true. But the growing threat of a different level of thinking, two different thought processes. One thought process is being here in America, one thought process being in Haiti. Thought process in Haiti was, let's revolutionize against that which is working against us. Let's try to become free. Let's try to establish a different way of thinking based on our history and our historical accounts. America, let's continue a process of what we've been doing. Let's continue a process that's been allowing us profits, allowing us, sustainability, allowing us to, grow into our ideals as a superpower. And so I believe, bottom line, that at the root of it all, they see a growing threat, and as a growing threat, they put up a bunch of different excuses or reasons as to why they need to be in this particular area, and then they moved forward and did that because they had the might to do so.
But personally, I think Haiti was more of a threat when they abolished slavery, because slavery was probably the most, based on what economists say, pretty much the system that built America. So that's when Thomas Jefferson, if you go back in archives, and he was paying attention to what's going on in Haiti since 1791. And he even said in one of his famous quotes that we have to do something about Haiti. If we don't do something, we're going to become murderers of our own children. So, but moving at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, America abolished slavery because of the fact that industry in the North were basically the backward system of slave labor, where you have industry. So they couldn't have two systems working in one country. So they had to abolish the slave backward economy to have to adapt to the industrial age. And do you also think that there is a possibility that just for Haiti to miss the Industrial Revolution, that occupation was necessary? I think to think that way sometimes.
Do you have an answer for that?
Go ahead.
Do you have an answer for the first question that he asked?
Yeah, I was going to say that, according even in regards to women's rights, the way our family system is built in Haiti,
And the plight of white women in America was quite different from the plight of Haitian women, just like the plight of black women in America, you know, because black women never had the luxury of not working unless she was in the elite class. So black women have always worked and toiled and farmed side by side with the men. So as far as women's rights, that would have been of a threat, that women had certain powers and they ran their households alongside their husbands. You understand? So that being, it was just a completely different system. So if they're looking at Haiti as, and the women being potomitan, which means pillars of society, we were the first educators, just like here, first educators of our children. And women were educated. My mom telling me stories about how grandparents and other aunts and uncles and cousins, generations past, were traveling to France and Canada and different places in a time where black people weren't that mobile in this country. So black people, not only were they mobile, they were making these black people who were free, making their presence known around the world, but they are making strides in music, in the arts, in writing, in all of these things. And all these things are very dangerous to the status quo.
Just to piggyback on what Addie was saying, it's just that even with, you look back at music and the arts and even the first cathedral that was in Haiti, it's like, that's from our ancestors, that's Africa. It's all Africa. Everything that was built from pyramids, it's math, everything that we have the power to take control of. So that is a threat. That to them, most of what the Europeans carry are from Africans. A lot of people don't talk about it. From art, music, Mozart, piano, come on. It's music, but no one wants to talk about where it's coming from. And of course, why would I allow this country to move? Even if they would go through the industrial age, could you only imagine if Haiti had that opportunity? Everything was just ripped away.
Biggest port. We had the biggest port. We had a port before America was trading. Yes. That's right.
Any thoughts, Dave? I know you're the Yale graduate guy. And
Yeah.
you go back
That's why I
Harvard.
handed it to him. We had.
You had to go to Harvard. You also political science. I want to hear your perspective on
what
Do
exactly?
you think also the occupation was part about Haiti missing the Industrial Revolution?
I mean,
That makes
the occupation came well after the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was more 1850s, 1860s. The occupation was already 1915. So I don't really think, I think it was just about protecting American interests in general and making sure. One of the first things that America did in invading Haiti was to seize control of the National Bank of Haiti and had some of the funds transferred to New York. And the Haitian, 40% of Haiti's income was used to repay loans that America had given to Haiti. So purely to protect and exploit, to protect American interests and exploit Haiti's resources. So, yeah.
But when we say protect American interests, Haiti was isolated from 1804
To 1865, yes.
to 1865.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Abraham Lincoln acknowledged Haiti as a republic only because,
Slavery had been abolished in America, yes.
and so there's never been an actual interest as far as relation is concerned,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
So what interest in the sense that they were protecting? Right?
No, what happened was, in the video that we saw, they talked about the debt to France, where Haiti was forced to pay 10 million gold francs to France, which in today's money is about $22 billion. That debt actually, before it was completely paid off, it was transferred to a bank in New York, to an American bank. So the French gave the debt to America. So it's now America's money to collect. So
So that's the interest.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
that interest. And also having other, you have the biggest sugar company they call ASCO. They call it the Haitian American Sugar Company. All of these were owned. You had American railroad companies in Haiti, so you had different investments that America made in Haiti. So these were the interests that they were trying to protect.
Good. I guess I'm going to ask one last question before we open, the question to the audience. You wanted to say something as well?
Oh no, it was just about industry, and when I went back to Haiti recently, I realized that rice is even being imported. But Haiti was such a rich,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What happened with that is, especially for me, coming from a family of rice growers, I remember every summer, once I'd get out of school, my father would send me out to the Haitian countryside. And to most kids, I mean, it'd be 3 months without electricity or anything, but I loved it, It was, wake up every morning, going to the rice fields with my grandmother, and, growing the rice to send back to Port-au-Prince to sell. It was a huge source of revenue for Haiti. And what happened was, in the 1990s, you had rice growers in America, particularly in Arkansas, home state of former President Bill Clinton. America was producing so much rice, and the U.S. government was subsidizing the production of rice in America. And Americans, we don't eat as much rice as they do in Haiti. So they're starting to pump some of that rice to Haiti. And what happened was, since the rice was subsidized here, it was being sold at below market value in Haiti. So American rice ended up being cheaper than a rice that was produced in Haiti. And going back to Industrial Revolution, Haiti didn't have the means. Basically, Haiti was producing the rice the same way that it had been producing it for the past 200 years, basically. I lived it. I remember having to, we have to get the rice from the plants and then putting them in these things to carry by horse. And then you get the rice, you put it in these big containers, put water in it for the sun to dye the rice. Then you take the rice out, you put it on the ground for the sun to dry it. So it was a lot of pain and labor. I went through it, so I know. So Haiti was still producing the rice, in a very centuries-old way of producing rice. So the man labor was much more. So it ends up costing the Haitian rice ends up being more expensive than the American rice, especially since the American rice was subsidized. So get to a point where in a poor country, although you'd like to support, things that are produced locally, at the end of the day, you're going to buy the cheaper one. So that's what happened with Haitian rice, and my grandmother was, one of the main victims of that, where people weren't buying the locally produced rice as much. So that's what happened. And to this day right now, American rice has completely invaded the local market, where the Haitian rice is more expensive, and Haitians don't consume the locally produced rice as much as the American rice, which they call Miami rice, unfortunately for us Miami residents.
Now, second question, moving 2015. We saw exactly the U.S. invasion in 1915, the struggles, the Cuba making the revolution, the Soviet Union was like, so America didn't really worry about, you have the rise of the Duvalier that they like to talk about in the news, and the Duvalier anti-communist against the ideas of communism. Well, and the United States.
To interject, Duvalier just wanted to keep power. He didn't really have a true philosophy. Being the smart man that he was, he's like, all right, so the Americans are anti-communism. There's Castro at the time in 1957 in Cuba just defeated the Batista in Cuba, and Castro taken over. So Duvalier's like, so America's fighting against communism all over the world. So I'm just gonna sell myself as being anti-communism.
Oh, that was political strategy.
Yes, yeah.
So that's what the U.S. supported his.
Yes, and that's why the U.S. supported this dictatorship, which lasted 29 years, from 1957 to 1986, which really did a lot of ills to Haiti, and that the Duvaliers really pushed out, the best and brightest that Haiti had to offer. They all fled Haiti, went to New York, Paris, Montreal, Miami, and one of the dictatorships that really did the most ill to Haiti, the U.S. ended up supporting it because they thought that Duvalier was anti-communism.
Interesting. Any other perspective as far as the U.S.? Because now you look at, I remember when I left Haiti, this is actually, I'm in the middle of writing kind of my own personal story. When I left Haiti, it was the first time I saw a white person. I was probably 15 years old. I saw a white face for the first time. He was the military, the U.S. military.
I remember that.
He was the U.S. military in Haiti, and I saw all these soldiers armed. And
Just to give you an idea, I remember 1994 I'm sitting on the balcony of my house, overlooking the Bay of Port-au-Prince, and then it's the most scariest thing I've ever seen, an invasion of the U.S. Army. It's the most frightening thing you'll ever see. Helicopters coming over. The helicopters are so big, they're carrying huge military vehicles. That's how big the helicopters were. And you have all these ships coming in below the helicopters. And I'm just like, my cousin, of course, American movies being popular all over the world. I was like, yeah, Rocky's coming to kill us, basically. And I was like having nightmares at the time, being a 6-year-old.
But so to me, there was a transition, and it was also in the process of me moving to the States. And I remember seeing the same thing, seeing these big helicopters, and in the Haitian radio, they're telling you like how the Haitian soldiers already surrendering. There's that fear that they're coming to because of the Vietnam. I think the Vietnam movies. Have you guys seen the Vietnam?
Yeah, all the Rambo movies are very popular in Haiti.
So that
Rocky, actually, my cousin was Rambo, not Rocky. That was coming to kill.
That movie was actually kind of intimidating a lot of the people.
Yeah.
But moving back to Clinton, again, Clinton was this very nice guy. He set himself as like, a friend of the poor in America, and he still is a popular figure in American politics and also respected politician. But do you guys think that is a friend or a businessman or just any other American who's there to focus on business in the name of humanitarian purposes? What are your thoughts on Bill Clinton's role in Haiti right now?
Okay. In regards to Bill Clinton specifically,
Because he brought back Aristide.
Yeah.
He brought back Aristide because
He reinstated them.
because of democracy, bringing democracy back in Haiti, and hopefully things are gonna be much better, and blah blah blah. And now he's pretty much the voice. Him and Champagne are pretty much the spokesperson for Haiti.
yes. Well, let's put it this way. It's always business. It's always business. The bottom line is profits. And if you look at the history within America, the bottom line is profits. Slavery was established because it was profitable. We drive after oil right now because it's profitable. So the interest in Haiti is because Haiti is actually profitable. Haiti has much resources.
Yes.
And it's natural in the lands. And so corporate companies has been going into Haiti for a long time and identifying what benefits are there, and then so therefore it becomes an interest. So now what, quote unquote, theme that they may put upon it, or whatever what story that they may spend on that. The bottom line, if you look at it, like they say, you follow the money, you find out what's really going on. And so Haiti, recently, they found out, a lot of the resources, they found out there's a lot of oil in Haiti. So there's been a lot of new developments, and they found this some time ago. And so over the many years, over the last 10 to 15 years, they've been creating a lot of different movements and slowly and carefully going back into Haiti to actually now position themselves to extract and take what's there in Haiti, as what's been done before with the resources. And so Clinton's position at this point, I don't think has much to do with really benefiting the people. I believe it has much more to do with what the bottom line can bring in as far as profitability. Not to say that he may not be sincere as to the tragedy that's taking place. However, what I've seen and historical accounts can account, to this be accurate, is that sometimes, regardless of the tragedy that may have taken place, the profits actually takes more precedence.
So the question is, why is Bill Clinton buying up land space in Haiti? There's so much that we don't know about the resources in Haiti. I want you to think it's poor. And Haiti is too rich to be poor. And I have a friend who has a hashtag who goes around here. His company is called Haiti Too Rich to Be Poor. They're mining in Haiti. Mining precious stones. There's still gold in Haiti. It was the pearl of the Caribbean. Even below the waters, even in the caves, they're finding precious stones. In the mountains, they are drilling, they are bombing the mountains. And there are companies down there right now exploiting young children who are dying, who are getting injured, and they are mining our precious stones. And ask yourself, why is our capital not built yet? That's because underneath, and this is, conspiracy theory, but I have reason to believe it. There's a reservoir of precious jewels and stones that was found there in the land, in the rock.
Now, women's rights. We have Hillary Clinton now is, from the last time I read an article about, I think with the help of Bill Clinton, her brother was able to get a contract in the gold. So what do you think now if, we're saying if, nobody knows, she becomes the next female president in the United States to make history? How do you think that would impact Haiti? Is it in a way good? Is it bad for women's rights in Haiti? Would she become an ally as far as the women's movement? Or still, again, be another face of oppression and systemic oppression?
Although U.S. has a lot of power in Haiti, I would venture to say that the political class is as much of a challenge to Haiti's development, if not bigger. And that you have a very corrupt political system. Just last week, you had the director of the customs, the former director of the customs office in Haiti from 2008 to 2011. It was discovered that he had stolen about $10 million from 2008 to 2011. So corruption is a big problem, and you have a lot of people, even if they're not corrupt, they're incompetent. So that's, to me, it's the biggest problem really in Haiti. And somewhat tied to that, you have an uneducated population. Democracy cannot function if the people are not educated. You have about 50% of the people don't know how to read and write. So they're not in a position to know who to select to represent them. And you have a country where 70% of the people live in poverty. So when elections are about to be held, people are campaigning, and they vote for the person who's paying them to vote for them. And you can't fault them for that because they aren't. So the political system, there needs to be a revolution in the political system in Haiti because the country cannot progress in any way with the current political system that it has.
Now, again, Frederick Douglass was right. America is also facing another challenge with the corporate, the big money influence in the American politics as well. And you see, I think Bernie Sanders saying that he believes America also needs a political revolution. And where, again, this is one of the richest countries in the world, or the richest country in our hemisphere. What do you think is the relation as far as political revolution and political revolution in Haiti that would help the United States, or do you think one is needed in Haiti first, so it can actually help the U.S., or is the U.S. needed a political revolution first to help Haiti, technically? Because they somewhat have the same destiny, in my opinion. The ideal of equality, justice for all, is what Haitian revolution was founded upon, and the ideal of justice and equality also was the idea that American revolution was founded.
I think it roots down, you kind of remove the labels of it, and that's one of the things about politics that confuses things, that they label everything. And they classify everything. And so what that does is divide you so that you have better control. And unfortunately, that has been the case. So I think the root of it all, now let's look at what the system is, the system of democracy. And I think democracy, if we're saying that democracy needs to be established, it needs to be brought to the table, or this country may need democracy, or this country we're in is operating under democracy, we have to look at, okay, what level of democracy? And what is the core values of democracy? And so there's contradiction in America, and it's obvious due to what the political climate, and it's obvious to the climate due to justice, that there is no real solid level of democracy. So to compare that to now Haiti's political system and the democracy that's there. So democracy, in the root of it all, you have to come in and bring in a system based on the needs of the people at that moment. So if we're going to label and say, okay, it's democracy that we need to bring, then democracy needs to be implemented differently in Haiti. And then it needs to be restructured here in the U.S. And so Haiti is dealing with a different dynamic. We're looking at an effect. Haiti is an effect due to several causes. So the solution to that is no one single thing, and we can't just say democracy is the solution to that, the political aspect of what's going on. It's so many layers to what the problems are that we have to go back to the basics, and the basics starts off with education. Because if the people don't know, they can't choose the right and make the right and proper informed decision. And it goes right back to here, even within America. And if people don't know and not aware of the truth of this matter or the truth of that matter to really make an informed decision, then you can't really have a true democracy. And so then therefore the political system becomes skewed. And so we're dealing with a skewed political system now that's coming more to the forefront, that now you have individuals that are running for presidency can't help but to start to mention that it's a huge problem that now politicians are being paid. Super PACs and so forth, we're going down the whole list. But it's understood that politicians are paid off because they're not instituting a balanced and just equitable system and putting anything into action. And it's obvious by the results. Now, same thing within Haiti. It just needs to be implemented differently. And so there's a lot of factors that can go into that. And one of the things I would like to do is start going into the solutions, because we're talking a lot about the problems. And let's start talking about some of the solutions of what can be done and some of the things that we can actually start doing.
I have a solution.
One of the solutions I propose is to not look at Haiti, and as we develop dialogue as to how we can help Haiti and how we can do better and how we can establish a better system of governing, I'm not going to say democracy, we can't look at it in relation to America. And I think that's the biggest problem. In the Caribbean, in Latin America, in the Americas, we look at it from the standpoint as to how we stand against or with America. And I think that's the biggest fallacy in looking at justice. What is justice? And what is democracy in the United States? Is it a democracy or is it a utilitarian state? Isn't it a republic? We're looking at it from a different and a skewed view. And just like he said, what we need is definitely not what is needed in America. And so the conversation, these big talks, we're forming a new government. Are we going to form a new government? Or like the sisters say, we need to get in there individually and work collectively, little by little, village by village. And that way, building education so that we can formulate what is needed.
Haiti has had a role with South America since the 18 teens with Simon Bolivar, who was the great liberator of South America, and thereafter freed these colonies, which led to the founding of Venezuela, Colombia, etc. So after the United States, and when I'm saying support rates, I'm talking about the number of funding that's given to Haiti. After the U.S., it's Venezuela. It's Venezuela. So yes, and Chavez has done so much for Haiti. He loved Haiti so much that they're naming Haiti's second biggest airport after him, and they're naming a park that's currently being built next to the biggest airport that's being named after him also. And they've donated over $1 billion to Haiti. And Haiti also has a strong relationship with Cuba. Also, Fidel Castro also loves Haiti, as we mentioned. His godfather is Haitian, of Haitian origin. So Fidel Castro loves Haiti. Chavez loved Haiti. And also has, Brazil has a strong relationship with Haiti also. And Argentina. Both of these countries, they have their soldiers present in Haiti as part of the UN mission. We've retained the African culture more than the Africans themselves, because voodoo is practically, they've tried to exterminate from Africa. It's practically exterminated from Africa, whereas in Haiti it still has a strong presence. And Haitians we're really proud of our African roots. And as you mentioned, we've influenced culturally, even Cuba and New Orleans, to the jazz, and Haitians, we're really proud of our African roots, and we still have strong ties to Africa. And actually, in the wave of the liberation of the African colonies in the 1950s and 1960s, Haiti actually sent a lot of teachers to Africa. I remember my former landlord in Haiti, very old guy, but he's still very vibrant, and I think he's about 90 years old, and every time I go see him, always tells me about how, in the 1950s, they sent him to Liberia, and he was basically served as a doctor to the first lady, for the first lady of Liberia, and they loved him so much. And Haitians, a lot of them went to Africa once a lot of these countries became independent, to serve as teachers, to work as officials in Africa. So we also have strong ties to Africa.
And then same question about what they call it, the silent films. Some of the films corrupted, demonized the spirituality, the spiritual standpoint of it, and like we talked about the corrupt politics. What about the corrupt spiritual leaders? How the spiritual leaders take advantage of people just for money because they're poor, and the different portals in the neighborhoods within the block.
That's one of the things that I'm a Christian. I went to Catholic school in Haiti and all that, but one of the bigger problems in Haiti is the proliferation of different sects of Christianity, where right now you have two of the most popular television stations in Haiti are two quote-unquote Christian channels, where you have these pastors preying on the people, making them believe. That's also tied to the lack of education, where they're making people believe that they're making miracles and having people, hey, if you come, you give such and such amount of money, I'll do this and this for you. And people who already have little resources, they believe in this and they give up their money. So, these fake pastors could, live in mansions while they're sleeping on the floor in their houses.
Now, we have one last question. I want to also mention part of this big talk is to really engage the young leaders and concern Miamian about not only the plight of the most vulnerable people in our Americas, also beginning to launching as part of this movement is a center that I call Port-au-Princess. I think I mentioned it to you. Port-au-Princess is a vision that I have for Haiti, because I do believe the women are the best hope of the country. Unless the men, we understand, we support, we support them. Because again, in our culture, I also believe the Haitian women did get the rights to vote before American women. So that's something also we never talk about in the democratic process. So in our culture, Haitian women are the pillar of the society. They run the market. And you go to Haiti, I would encourage you all to visit Haiti at least once. They run the market, but unfortunately because of the resources, the corruption as far as politics and the influence of international politics, not able to really stay and lead the country. And again, part of my work is, and I'm opening the center for girls. And if you guys would like to support in any way, any donation, I'm taking that as well, because we didn't charge for the event, because we want to have this conversation quarterly. But the most important aspect is I want to make sure that this center is built, and we have something at least we know. If we miss the Industrial Revolution, but the digital revolution, I don't think Haiti should miss it. If Haiti missed the digital revolution, we definitely can kind of bury ourselves under the ground, because there won't be any hope.
I thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. I observed over the last couple of years the change in Miami. I'm just speaking of Miami, Florida, and how Overtown and Little Haiti was just, I grew up in both places. I just noticed how it was just going away slowly, and people were just moving away. Miami Gardens, Carroll City, and just moving away. But no one was saying anything. We were accepting that, okay, these industries, these people are going to come and they're going to buy out. They're going to buy out this land and they're going to take it away. But I watched how so many young people were silent about it. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to go move to Miramar. Or I'm going to go move over here because it's better. But look how much Little Haiti has changed. I grew up in Little Haiti. I had nowhere to go to. Now we have the Little Haiti Cultural Center. And even in that little area itself, if we're not embracing our culture, even if you're not Haitian, but if you can understand that art, the root of everything that we are is African. It's all from Africa. If we embrace it, people will see that we embrace it, but because we're not educated, we think that we're educated, but we see that it's taken away from us, but we're not saying nothing, we're staying quiet.
Right.
They're building, we need to build. From organizations, going to meetings, going to city meetings. The park that's even behind the American Airline Arena, I found that that's a public park that we can go to and have picnics.
Yes.
And very few of us know that. And I look at Haiti, and you can compare it. You see it. It's the same thing. The people are being killed. Police brutality. So much is going on, but everyone is being silent. One person dead, conversation over, next. We can't keep our eyes closed. We have to stay awake. Little Haiti, I don't believe it was taken away from me. I believe that I'm going to keep on fighting for Little Haiti. Because that place where I grew up in, where people were being killed in front of me, is now being changed into something else, which is beautiful. People are appreciating our art more than we are. And it's very sad. And it takes our community. I challenge everyone in here. We can blame whoever we want to blame, but we have a responsibility. Little Haiti will be taken away from us if we do not stand up. Overtown will be taken away from us if we don't stand up. And it's the community. And they're pushing us away. The crime is still going on, but our eyes are closed. We're going to sleep, waking up the next morning. Schools that we're going to is like, I find out the school that my sister's going to, I'm like, why are they pushing the kids to this little area? Why can't they go to different areas? If we embrace Luganti Elementary, if we embrace the little schools that we have around us, bring in better teachers, we're educators, we can go in and make the change. It is our responsibility. History will continue to repeat itself if we stay with our eyes closed. We're all in here, we're talented. Everyone can write, everyone can read. Go in a community, teach a group of kids how to read. Because sometimes the parents they don't understand, and we blame the parents, but I see it for myself. My son at the age of 5 had a private tour of the White House. Because he asked me. And when he told me, Mommy, why can't I go? I said, sweetie, that's only for grown-ups. That's what my parents used to tell me. They were my dream killers. And I was like, you know what? I cannot allow myself to be a dream killer. Open up doors and open up opportunity and resources. It was not just meant for the white people. It is for us all. And if we're going to stay blind, we cannot blame the white people because we're blinded ourselves.
The other thing I would also mention is the whole idea of the big talk is to create the space for this change. And my hope is, if you guys interested, this is the platform that we really can craft and share ideas, share perspective, share inspiration to bring about the change. Because to me, there's something spiritual and special is happening in the world. When people are looking at the tragedy, I see the opportunity.
Yes.
I see the greatness, the better days. I see it. It's with that vision that I wake up every day and I'm pushing forward. So with that said, this is the platform and this is the luncheon. This is the kickoff of the big talk. The country have never had a big talk. And this is where I think our generation, the millennial generation, can really start talking about transforming Miami. Because I think Miami, again, as I mentioned, can be a model city for the rest of the country. Because it already looks like the rest of the country in 50 years. Now, with the challenge that we have, it's going to take a lot of work. I think this is just the beginning.
And that was very powerful. Thank you, sister. Thank you for that question. And that's exactly what that's the goal of educators. To teach self-identity, to teach self-love. If you know who you are, if you know your culture, you'll embrace the arts before you grab a gun. If you love yourself, it's hard to hate another person. And it was systematic to us. We needed to hate ourselves. That's why Jamaicans, for example, would think that they were better than Haitians. They didn't just wake up thinking that. Dusty Bookman came and helped us. It wasn't like that. We were a beacon, and we were our brother's keepers. So what's the problem now? So as educators, as parents, we bring our children to the center right here. I grew up in Wynwood. Oh, don't talk about Wynwood.
No, different.
Let's not talk about Wynwood. And I wrote a piece for NPR about Wynwood. And I talked about how it was as a child. It's completely different. But I have little Haiti. My children know little Haiti. So it's up to us. And we start with ours. And we spread that to each and every one of the children we come in contact with. We teach them self-identity. We teach them love for self. Because love for self means love for community. Love for community means love for nation, love for country, love for heritage. It's so important to hold on to culture. So my job is to preserve culture. When you preserve culture, and I know I'm not afraid of Haitian Vodou, I will not push away my culture for someone else's. And that's the problem, self-hatred. You see the self-hatred in their hair. You see the self-hatred in the bleaching products. Everything is teaching my daughters that white is right and beautiful. They need to know that black is beautiful. They need to know about the Dogon people. They need to know about the Timbuktu that they invaded. They need to know how they raided Alexandria. They need to know about the Moors and how the Moors built every castle in Europe. They need to know that. So, we do it.
I think it starts with the mind. As somebody mentioned, that we have to start thinking differently. Start loving our culture. It goes back to loving yourself, it goes back to the same thing. And I think as we learn to love ourselves and we learn to culture ourselves and appreciate and the contribution our ancestors make, we'll be more responsible financially and invest in our community. I agree with you, but I think it starts also mentally with understanding the importance of loving yourself.
May I go ahead and interject? I really need to mention and address that part there. This is a very, very important one. No matter what revolution or idea or goal you may have in life, if you don't have the economic base to reinforce that, it will not either be brought into existence or it would not sustain itself. So the economic component is extremely, extremely, extremely vital for our level of success and the level of success of establishing justice. The component of, and I'm with you on that in regards to starting off with the mind. It starts off there because education and being able to bring in self-worth, being able to bring in the educational component, and being able to bring in those aspects because that's extremely important. But now how do you reinforce that? Because if you don't have schools to do it, if you don't have a platform to do it, we cannot do it. The power of the people lies within our unity. You mentioned that we are a group of consumers, which is absolutely true. Everyone in this room is affected by some level of injustice. And that level of injustice within this capitalistic society that we're in is usually brought upon by some sort of corporate structure that has invaded, infiltrated, and developed in some manner. But as a consumer, your single dollar makes all of the difference. Because if you don't spend, a corporation can't survive. If you control your spending and you control where you direct your money, you now cut off the blood and the veins and the source that actually feeds that which may be working against you. So with a conscious effort, and as we continuously to reinforce, okay, the value of self-worth, as we continuously push to reinforce everything from Pan-Africanism to simply just justice overall, and that could be, of course, from the Black Lives Matter movement to, if you want to say, all lives matter, but at the end of the day, injustice is very real, and there are many people who are dying day to day from that. And so it's going to take an economic component, because we tried everything else. We tried everything else, but what we have not tried was a conscious effort of unity, utilizing our dollars to help make that change. So
We did try it.
Remember Oklahoma? And that proved successful
We tried.
until they came through and bombed us.
absolutely.
We had libraries,
This is
we had
where
farms, everything.
this is where, on the next level of that, is where this is how you now have to defend what you actually are establishing. And it's in business, it's in everything that you do. Whenever you create something of value, you have to now prepare to actually defend it and protect it. And so the economic component is a level of that. And we got to be able to be willing to go the distance. If you want to establish justice and you really want justice, justice has never been actually accomplished without some level of sacrifice. And so we have to be willing to sacrifice, and that level of fear have to be removed. You have to be willing to lose something in order to gain everything that you want. And until you come to that mind frame and that mindset, you're going to sit back and watch and complain and not take action. And that's been the action of many people today. That's the action of many people, unfortunately.
I have something to piggyback on that. Just a couple of months ago, 4 months ago, I had over 5 women, that's 5 African Black women, who started their own business. The reason why I go back and emphasize on that, they had no sense of direction. They didn't know how to register. I see them, they're decorating, and I'm like, well, do you have is your business official? And they're like, no, I'm just doing this because I enjoy doing it. I'm like, well, you can make money from this. This is something where you can make capital. And she had 2 other girls working with her, and I had to bring her under my wings and help her bring up about this business. Now she's launched it, she had her first event, and it's just remarkable. When you say unity, we've taken these women from December to now, we've seen a difference. They're bringing that money, that dollar is going back into their business and empowering their community. I can honestly say that everyone is in here. We do not own everything that we purchase that we're wearing belongs to a corporation, right? We didn't make nothing. We didn't make our shoes. But I look at the women that are in Haiti, and we got them the sewing machines, how they're designing their own dresses. The women in the community are wearing their own dresses. They're bringing the money back into the community. We have to reach back out and bring it back in. We have a responsibility.
It used to be that way. It used to be that
I
way.
agree with the women, but I think investing in women is what my organization is about. And my biggest fight is trying to get men to believe in the same thing. It's a big challenge. But also to all the guys here, as you hear the power of the women when you invest and when you give them the support. I do also facilitate a monthly meeting called Among Us Men to bring men into the conversation about domestic violence prevention and the importance and the power of women in the community. Because I do believe in American women as well that you guys are the best hope of this country as well. I think American women and Haitian women do have, this have to be some type of support in the men. My hope is I'm bringing the men to kind of see the same power of investing in women. And I think I agree with you that with the support, women can pretty much put the community together. I believe that. So without any further ado, guys, thank you very much for your attention, for your time, for your questions, and look forward to the next week talk.